Hi, my name is Nitin Vengurlekar. I'm the Chief Architect at Viscosity. I'm honored to come here for AIOUG Sangam 18. One of my sessions today is on Oci Planning-Provisioning. So the goal of the session is really to educate and bring DBAs up to speed on how to migrate applications from on-premise or even build new applications in OCI, and how to communicate effectively with the network. Because at the end of the day, the key aspect of really OCI is going to be data moving in, data moving out. So really ingress, egress, network management. So in order to do that correctly, you really have to effectively talk to this network team. Talk to the network team that's building out your VCNs, your subnets. So do that. You need to have all your requirements as far as what ports need to be opened up, how the packets are traveling in, how is the communication going from on-premise back to the cloud, or cloud back to on-premise. So one of the things I want to talk about is part of this, not only this session, but one of the things I do with the customers is understand what are the drivers to migrate to cloud. And once we've established the drivers and the motivation to get to the cloud, I talk about my workshop. I always have a workshop with customers as we engage with them. And part of this workshop really involves the 6 pillars, what I call the 6 pillars of data migration or deployment of cloud. And the 6 pillars include connectivity to the cloud, whether it's Fast Connect, VPN, data transfer, migration of data to the cloud, governance, access control, operations model, choice of compute shapes, this how you're deploying it, and finally the most important thing out of all this is really virtual network design. So if I go through each one of these 6 pillars, it really comes down to how are you going to, let's start with the top one. Connectivity, is it Fast Connect, VPN? Those things need to be established up front, because that defines how your bandwidth is going to be, your latency is going to be. The next part is data transfer, migration. If you're transferring a couple hundred gigabytes here and there, then it's not that big of a deal, especially with Fast Connect. But if you're moving over 20 terabytes, 30 terabytes of data, then things like DTU and DTS from Oracle really come into play. Those services allow you to move large bulk data from on-premise into object store and then restore them into cloud. The next thing is governance and access control, security. How is data going to be managed? Who's going to be able to provision? Who's going to be doing SSH? How are things going to be torn up, built up, torn down? So governance and access control, as well as single sign-on, are going to be a key aspect of any deployment in OCI. Next is operations model. Who's going to be allowed to start up instances, shut down instances, bring up web servers, auto scaling. That's a key aspect of how you scale your system as well. The last and probably the most important, like I said, is a virtual network design. And the heart of any cloud is really the network. How data gets in, how the data gets out. So this really involves the DBAs, the network team, and the storage team, all involved, and to have a conversation as far as ingress, egress, stateful and stateless systems, right? Especially if you're moving things like EBS, PeopleSoft, those things require certain ports to be opened up, 1521. If those things aren't defined upfront, then you're going to have applications that don't work well together, especially things like EBS, which require connectivity back on premise or have tentacles outside of OCI. So those things have to be established up front, and this is the key aspect of getting any successful application deployed, implemented, and supported in Oracle Cloud. So the last part is really work with your solutions integrator, whether it's Viscosity or anybody else, as you're doing this migration and transition to cloud, is really establish that working framework with your greater team, whether it's a storage team, network team, DBA, or applications. All that has to be established going forward. So I implore you to have some kind of working relationship, upfront workshop, as well as ongoing as you transition to the cloud. Thank you.